Hey, welcome to episode 1 of our podcast, the Matt and Monica podcast. We also got 2 special guests, as you can see here. Well, you can see the rear end
Little
of
bag
one.
of potatoes over here.
Got a little border collie arrow here. Anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about quite a bit. I guess, most of our
life experiences.
Yeah.
From the beginning to today.
Yep.
And the future.
Completely unscripted, by the way.
And as normal as possible, obviously.
Which is not normal at all, because I'm anything but normal.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, we start back to day 1 when her and I first met. We're going to go there and just kind of move forward. And I don't know how many episodes this will take, but I imagine it's going to take quite a few.
We want a lot of episodes, so you can feel like you can connect with us, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And if we give you as much detail as possible, maybe it'll help people to connect with us more, and we could help you and
help people relate.
Yeah. And if you're going through a hard time, we've been through hard times, and we want to help you get through it.
Yeah. I've learned this year, it took me 36 years, and I don't know what was so special about this year that it never happened before in my entire life, but I realized the second you can stop dwelling the second you can stop dwelling on things that are out of your control, you have way more control over your life than you could ever imagine.
Well, it's kind of like when you dwell on things, you stop and you can't move forward because you're holding on to something that's like negative. So it kind of puts rocks in your pocket and you're like heavy.
Yeah.
So you let it go and you can just move forward.
Yeah.
It takes a lot and it's hard, but
it's 100% a choice though, and I never realized that. But anyway, I guess let's start with episode 1 and where we met.
Yes.
And go from there.
How we met.
Yeah. So I'll let you start.
Okay. So I was single at the time. And I had a friend, an old coworker that was a very close friend of mine, talk me into a dating website, and I was not about that kind of stuff. She made me do it anyway, and it was Tinder. Met some people. Got to go through people to meet your one, and I met my one. And should I just say, like, how we met, like when we met?
Whatever.
Okay, so we talked for a while on the phone, texting and phone calls, mostly phone calls, because he's definitely a phone call type of person.
Yeah, we're getting
hearing your voice.
I was at Fort Drum. I was in the reserves, and I remember I was in the barracks, and of course, I was the typical single guy, just swiping mainly right. Yeah, pretty much. Sort through the ones once you have many to choose from, I guess.
Interesting.
But we end up matching, and of course, I thought she was too good to be true then, and continue to think that for 7 and going on 8 years now. But honestly, that's another thing. People tell you that relationships have to get old, and they
don't have to.
100%
at all.
No, that's also a choice. It's all the work you want to put into it, which is
not
always easy, but
it doesn't have to get stagnant and boring and stuff. And you have to love each other and do stuff together, and you have to date each other, whether you're together for a year or 30 years. The dating and the spontaneous little notes, and it's the little things that mean everything.
Yeah, and you have to take sips of your husband's Maker's Mark. You can have something about it. Peer pressure.
Just kidding.
So I remember being in Fort Drum, and I was in the barracks there. And I remember going out into the hallway because people were sleeping. And I was sneaking my phone to talk to her. And the first time I talked to her, she was actually, I think it was like a Friday or Saturday night. It must have been because it was on a weekend. But she was, I'm not gonna say 3 sheets to the wind initially, but within the end of the conversation,
I'm like, pretty good.
Yeah. So we made plans like people do on Tinder to, possibly meet up or something like that. And
you can tell them what you said to me like the first thing about my voice because I was
Oh,
always
yeah.
sick.
Yep. The first time I heard her voice on the phone, the
Yep.
first thing I ever said to my wife ever was that your voice is absolutely hideous because I have a dark sense of
And
humor.
I was like, he's the one.
Yeah. And at the time I was living in my parents' basement and I was so insecure about that I just threw it out there because I didn't care. I'm like, there's, when I first was single, I like to hide the fact that I had 3 kids and, was living in my parents' basement because I was pretty insecure about that after going through a divorce. So, but when I met her, I don't know what it was, but I just like, whatever, I'm just gonna throw it out on the table. She's pretty hot. I don't want to,
Yeah, so he tells me that. And then I said, oh my gosh, well, I have 2 kids. And I'm living in my mom's basement too.
Yeah.
So that kind of is a little connection. Something similar.
Yeah.
So I would never even judge anyone that had 3 kids and living in their parents' basement anyway, because people
I would.
People move back into their parents' houses a lot, and that's okay as long as you're trying.
Yeah. 100%.
So don't feel like you should be embarrassed about that because you shouldn't.
Yep.
At least you have family that love you and are trying to help.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we talked for a few days. A lot of text messaging. We got really, really close really quick, which was kind of ironic because the girl I was seeing before her, I don't know. I didn't like the clinginess, but I realized clingy is only bad if it's a one-way street.
Clingy is not bad.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad at all. Right. And it's not for everyone, which is fine. But when you meet someone that it is mutual, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Because you want them to be clingy to you. You want them to show their love for you. And if you're like that back, it just meshes so good together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, we should have really put something out in the beginning of this podcast how this is going to get pretty deep.
We can say it right now.
I mean, I just did, but yeah, no, it's going to get deep because our relationship didn't start out smooth. Many people don't know this.
I think we should say though that podcast obviously is not kid friendly. There's going to be personal stuff that kids don't need to listen to, and swearing. I wouldn't want my kids listening. I just think parents should know that.
Okay.
And a mom perspective, I guess.
Yeah, first date. I don't know.
Okay, so the first date. So you worked at Turning Stone.
Correct.
I worked at Colgate University, and we thought meeting in a place where there are a lot of people, safety reasons, because he could have been psychotic. I felt comfortable driving there and meeting him there. And there's restaurants, so we decided to eat at the Emerald, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I walk in there. I'm sitting on a bench at, what's that place called?
Upstate Tavern.
Upstate Tavern, right above the escalators. I'm sitting there waiting, and I swear it was like slow motion. It was like in Hollywood movies. He went up slow-mo up the escalators, and I was just like immediately in awe because you're just like more perfect in person than I could ever imagine. So handsome and everything. And we hugged and kind of introduced ourselves again, like just in person, I guess.
Oh yeah, and that awkward first moment.
It was I was so nervous. I was nervous, but I felt comfortable at the same time because I like knew you, but hi baby. So we decided to go eat at the Emerald. So we kind of walked slowly there. And did we hold hands when we walked there? I think we did. I feel like we would have.
I don't think so.
Really?
I recall holding your hand after we ate when we were walking towards the lodge outside.
Okay,
so I remember awkwardly. I think I even might have asked you, and like I pointed out that I'm going to awkwardly ask you to hold your hand.
But when we were at the Emerald, I ordered his food, which I felt really weird that you said order for me.
I said, I'll eat what you eat.
Yeah, so we had eggs Benny, which was so good.
Never had it before until that point.
That's why I had you have it, because it's good, and he's never had it. And yeah, after we ate, we just walked around and talked, and it was just perfect. Mm-hmm. We just clicked even more in person, which I thought was crazy. And you can tell a story when we were
Well,
going our separate ways.
Where I worked for the casino, we had to go to a kind of a secure location where non-employees are not allowed, and there's stairs at the bottom. So we went to the bottom of the stairs, and I pretty much said bye and turned around and started walking up the stairs. And I said, "Screw it, don't be a pussy." And I turned around and I went back down, and we had our first kiss at the bottom of those stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yep. Perfect.
It was like stupid, corny, that stuff you see in the
Stupid
movies.
love stories. Yeah. Like The Notebook.
Yep, 100%.
And
But then I don't remember like the next time we saw each other after that. I believe it was when you wore those jeans with holes in them, and I took you on a ride on the motorcycle.
So I rode to your house in Camden.
Yeah.
And luckily, I actually packed another pair of pants, and I really don't even know why. But he asked if I wanted to ride on his crotch rocket. I was like, sure, why not? It was pretty hot. And it was kind of wet outside, so of course when we get back, my whole ass is all wet.
Drenched, yeah.
Yeah, which was so much fun. But so
then we went. I believe that was the same night that we went out to the bar downtown, and I didn't realize the bar didn't take anything but cash, and I don't carry cash on me. Never use my debit card, so I don't even know my debit PIN number. And sure enough, I had to have her pay for our first drinks. I'm like, oh. Yeah.
Were you like, in your head, I feel like an idiot right now? Because
100%.
Technically, men are supposed to pay for the first date or for dates when you go out and stuff in general. But
who made that rule?
I don't know, but I disagree with that. I think it shouldn't matter. I think whoever wants to pay can pay. And women shouldn't expect men to pay. I think it's kind of cool and kind of badass if women would pay for men sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's pretty cool.
Yep. So I'm trying to think what would have been after that. What can I remember? The only thing I can remember after that is going to that wedding. Which, ironically, I was kind of dating the maid of honor, which she's a good person. But we split up a few weeks before the wedding, which was my cousin's wedding, which the maid of honor obviously was in. And I was supposed to go there with her. And I ended up bringing Monica as my date. And she's not a confrontational kind of person, and neither was this person. They were cool. Actually,
I told her I liked her dress, that she looked beautiful, because she did.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And we had a absolutely...
best time ever.
Yeah, it was an incredible night. So much fun. The whole night.
Yeah.
But...
yeah.
Gotta skip the rest of that night.
Yeah.
Anyway, trying to think, what would have been after that?
So I think I came out a couple times to see you.
Yeah. So we were pretty much inseparable for the most part, as much as we could be. I mean, we lived like 40 miles away from one another.
Yeah.
You
know. So I come out one night, and was that the night, the motorcycle night, when we went to the bars?
I'm not sure.
So there was one night close to that, I think, when we went to a couple bars, and you introduced me as a girlfriend, and I was like,
oh yeah, that was like day 2 of us. Like,
I'm like, you said
might have been like
girlfriend.
Yeah.
So that was big. That was huge
to my buddy Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Brad. You know, someone that I don't see nearly as much as some other friends. He was like the first friend to meet you in person. That's a crazy thought.
Yeah, that is crazy.
It's cool though.
Yeah. Yep, that was a fun night.
It was. The whole night was really good.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, and I remember we went to. Did I go to your house before I met? You remember meeting you at Walmart and your mom?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So he would meet me at Walmart like more than once. You met me there because I would go to Walmart all the time, and it was
like a halfway point between where we lived.
Yep, and it would be like after work, after you were done, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm going to Walmart," so we could see each other quickly. Yep. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And your mom wanted to meet me.
Yeah.
And you kept your girls were with your mom in the other aisle.
And then I went around, and I think we maybe really quick, and did they see it or something?
No, I don't think they saw it, but they knew that something was going on. So we ended up going to Wendy's, and it was the one time ever I forgot my damn wallet. So her mom's like, "Oh, do you want anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm good." And I'm just like, I'm not hungry. And I was starving, but I'm not hungry. And we're like, no, what do you just, I'm like, listen, I'm like, this is going to sound like a horrible excuse, but I forgot my wallet. I don't have a wallet on me. And yeah, so her mom had to buy me my lunch. And
almost seems like it's going to be a pattern.
I didn't know that her mom would have been feeding me for years because I ate all their leftovers when I lived there.
Yeah, which she misses to this day.
Yeah.
You eating food?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we continued, like I think I pretty quickly started staying there with her.
You did.
And then, all your girls hated it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They hated it
so it's always
much.
been me and my girls forever.
Yeah.
So having a man that they don't know taking their mother away from them, they did not like that at all.
Yeah.
Hated it.
I looked at some of those pictures we found of when we're on the couch and like Melanie.
I know.
She's glaring over at us. Glaring over at me.
If looks could kill.
But
yeah.
Yeah, our relationship, like, and ironically, I believe it was love at first sight. But
love at first sight though, like before I even like saw you in person, because like I got to know you through your personality and talking, and I fell in love with that. And your looks are just a plus, obviously, like a big huge plus. But definitely fell in love with like you.
God, so many people are gonna hate this. They're just like, wow, these guys are annoying as shit. They're way too into each other.
And I don't care, because I wish you all had someone like this too. And if you do, I am so happy. And if you don't, and that's what you want, don't settle.
Yeah.
There's someone out there that's looking for you.
100%.
Yeah.
I believe that.
I do too. Yes.
But I still to this day I've always been this kind of person where I have a hard time of letting go of someone or something that I care about, and I'm not rationalizing my mistake. But I don't remember exactly how it played out, but I believe we were dating for like a month. Right about a month. I believe it was like towards the end of October.
Like we weren't talking to anybody else.
Yeah, we went exclusive really quick, and I've always been the kind of person. So is she. Like, I thought it was pretty cool because she would always if she was freshly off the market, so she of course still had guys messaging her, vice versa. And we did this thing where anytime somebody messaged me, I just showed her, not because I felt like I had to. I wanted to.
Out of respect,
like, hey,
so it's not weird, and
yeah,
I would want you to know, because I would want to know too. If
and she always has done the same thing for me as well, and it's worked out.
To this day, we still do it.
Yeah, which isn't nearly as often.
No,
now that we're old as shit.
Not all the time.
But anyway, yeah, this is the part that not many people know, and I'm okay with people knowing, because the only person I would really care that would know about this would have been her mom and maybe her family, because they're the ones that would really be the most judgmental when it comes to this. But they weren't. It was incredible.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that, this is dirty laundry, if you want to say, or whatever, maybe too personal, but we want to say this because is our relationship perfect? Pretty freaking perfect to me.
I think so. It
is
perfect. Even with its flaws, it's perfect.
Yes, and that's life, and that's a relationship, and you grow and learn. People make mistakes, and you continue from there. But I think a lot of people think that our relationship from day one was spick and span, just perfect down to the line of yes. Well, yes.
Minus.
But there are little things in relationships that happen that you can't control. And I think maybe for some people that are like, oh, and I don't want to sound cocky when I say this or anything, like, oh, I wish we had what you had, or I wish I had the relationship that you have. But
the amount of people that have told me that, or something similar to that, it's pretty cool. It's like the most flattering thing ever, because your relationship with your significant other.
And when people see how happy you are, and people say that to you and recognize it, it makes you feel that much better.
Yeah.
But I wish people had that too. But us sharing this detail in our relationship, we want to help anybody in a relationship. I don't want anyone to feel like, because of something like this that has happened in the relationship, that it's doom and gloom and it's over and stuff, and you can't work on anything, or you can get through it if that's what you want.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then that's okay too.
Is this a tangent?
Sorry.
I am horrible at getting cut off on tangents. You were supposed
Yeah,
to be the one.
that's gonna happen. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a majority of the podcast. But
Yeah.
so needless to say, I think we were together about a month or so, and I don't recall exactly how it happened, but I remember my ex-girlfriend and I talking. I don't remember how. I think I do, but I just don't. I don't want to give away facts, and like I don't want to be
You don't
wrong
know.
because I'm trying to
It's fine.
paraphrase
Yeah.
something that I don't have the best memory. But needless to say, I ended up going to get a drink with my ex-girlfriend. Mainly, I was shocked that she even talked to me because she's very much so the type of person that she wouldn't want to give me the time of day and let me know if she was, hurting or anything like that. Just kind of the person she was. She wasn't a bad person. But anyway, I ended up going to get a drink, and I went back to her apartment with her, and it was my old apartment. I lived there for a couple of years with her. We had a pretty serious relationship. It just didn't work. It's just I cared about her very much. I think she cared about me equally as much. Just we fought. We just couldn't get along, and I think it took a long time to figure that out. But when I went back to her apartment, I remember walking in there, and I just remember seeing, just I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that detail just because it's more her business. But anyway, long story short, I ended up going there, and I'm like essentially ghosting her, and we were talking every day up to this point.
I think you're
every
scared
day,
to say
all the
anything.
time, and I was terrified.
Yeah.
And I do actually have morals. I felt bad. There's a lot of people that may disagree with this and say she's an idiot for this, but ironically, I think we stopped talking for a few days or whatever, and all of a sudden, like she did get a hold of me. I
So I
responded to her.
remember that morning like it was yesterday. I was getting ready for work, and I don't know if I called you or you called me. Something was off because you answered, so maybe I called you because I was trying to figure out what was going on. And I just remember you being really weird and quiet, and I said, "What's going on?" I knew you didn't have to say it.
Yeah.
And I called it, and I called you out on it, and I immediately felt like I died inside. And long story short, we didn't talk for like a week. And I know some of my very good friends knew that something had happened because I was acting different. And all of a sudden, it's like I just shut down and got very sad and very depressed and lost weight. And it was all like a week. And I was like, screw this shit, deleted everything that had to do with you, deleted Facebook messages, text messages, everything. I was like, done, which is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I still had it. I think you still have that stuff. But,
Yeah.
which is good. But that was one of the worst times in my life because in my heart, my friends would talk to me throughout that week, and I would cry and say, he's the one. I know he is the one. I just felt it in my soul.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think you asked me if you could come to see me on my lunch, and I wanted to say no, but I didn't. And I remember going out to her car. I remember going out to your car.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting in your car with you in your little old Honda Civic.
Mm-hmm. Love it there.
And I just remember sitting there talking to you, and like I just telling you I don't know what I want, and I don't want to get past the point. When did I tell you? How did I tell you? What happened? Was it on the phone I told you, or did I tell you in person?
Well, I already knew what happened because I called you out on the phone, and
I admitted to it immediately.
I think you did, yeah.
No, I did.
But I think that's one of the things.
You said you slept with her, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but I said it a little more vulgar. But I think because like through that time when I found out to like the week when we talked, like after the week when we talked and stuff like that, and you opened up to me and you told me your feelings. Like, I mean, you were with her for about 2 years.
Oh yeah, no, I did say I'm like, listen, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't want to continue dragging you along.
Right. But that's the thing is I mean, this shouldn't have happened. Obviously, can't rationalize it. But I think in my heart, the forgiveness thing.
Forgiveness?
Yes. And I was trying to think if I was in your position and still like kind of confused, at least you explained to me your feelings and was like, I don't know what I want instead of dragging me along. you know, because I know that can be hard.
Yeah, just having a hard time letting go.
Yeah. See, I'm like the opposite, so I can't really understand how you deal with that. But everyone's different.
Well, obviously you aren't like that. You didn't just let go of me.
That's different.
I know. I agree.
That's way different.
But
anyway,
the day we went, or you came to my work, and I remember sitting in the car with you, and like she came in, she actually like essentially begged me
to try to make it work.
Yeah, I'm just like, this isn't
it should
how
be the other way around. I know, but I think it was two things. I think either I went there for everything. If it wasn't going to work between us, I needed closure. And then if it was, I feel like we needed to try to make it work because I felt like in my heart and soul that we were supposed to be together. I just knew it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, because I feel like there'd be like this door that was been open my entire life if we didn't try to make it work.
Obviously.
Like emptiness. Yeah, I know, but I don't know. That's just weird.
That day we kind of, I don't remember exactly how we parted ways. Did I give you an answer right then and there or no?
No. I think because I was bawling the entire time.
Yeah, I remember seeing you. I remember very specifically looking at your lips quivering. Like you're trying so hard not to cry, and like that's burned into my freaking soul. That makes
me feel bad for the past me.
Yeah.
That's sad. But yeah, I think we left it as in like a kind of open, like didn't really know what was going to happen. And then I think
was it that night I came over?
No, you were at at training. Because I remember you left wicked late. It was like 10:30 or 11 o'clock by the time you got to my house.
I think I had to go back there for formation
at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So you drove like 2 or 3 hours to talk to me, to try to make things work, to say that I want to be with you and try to make this work.
For all my viewers that said I lost points, I had to get some of them back for that. So I did. I drove from like Fort Drum all the way there, and it had been almost a 3-hour drive one way, and I drove back there. I think I recall, it was something along the lines of just thought like, what am I doing? Yeah. What am I doing? And I drove there, and I remember probably one of, if not the scariest moments of my life. Monica's mom is going to love to hear this. She's going to laugh her ass off. Yeah. So I remember pulling into her house, again, living in her parents' basement. So I pull into that house at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like thinking, oh, please, nobody be awake. And I'm walking through the house, and her mom's in the living room. I'm like, fuck.
I wonder if I told her that you were coming.
I don't know.
I think I did.
Oh,
you
yeah.
couldn't just come to my house like at 11 o'clock at night. So I think I told her that you were coming.
Maybe I don't need more of this.
I have one. You don't know.
I don't need more of that. So I remember walking into the house, and I'm like walking to the room to go downstairs, which you had to walk by the living room to get there. And while I'm walking through the hallway, all of a sudden I see her mom. Mm-hmm. She's like, hey. And I'm like, hi. And she's like, come sit with me for a minute. And she sits me down on the couch. And she didn't have to say much. All she said is, she's like, listen, she's like, I can't remember the exact words, but I remember very specifically the one thing she did mention is, listen, I understand, it's my daughter down there, but it's not just my daughter. There's 2 other little girls down there. So it's all I ask is please remember that. And like, again, when I talked about things burned and etched into my soul, the fact that her mom didn't tell me to like, fuck off was like.
Which that was probably hard for her not to say to you.
Yeah.
Knowing her.
Especially seeing her all week, crying her eyes out, like not eating. And like, that was me that did that. And she's forgiving me. Like the power of forgiveness, man. Like you hear that your whole life. Power of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Corniest saying on the planet until it's reality. And then it's not corny anymore. Like kind of like a lot of this stuff. Because this gets a lot deeper than that. So much deeper. But
yeah.
So we end up getting back together. And it like somehow worked.
I don't really remember from that bad point to when it got really, really good again. Like I don't remember.
It was like
almost like nothing even happened in my brain.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
100%.
And it's still like since then till right now, like nothing happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really think about it or anything like that because life's good and whatever. But
miss living in the basement. Your mom made amazing food.
I mean, if you ask her, she could probably cook for you sometimes and bring it
It's a long
over and
drive.
eat with us.
Yeah.
She'd love to come here.
We have many, many kids here tonight. They're all downstairs in the room for our podcast. I mean, it's 9:45 at night, so they're okay, but yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, it's going to be an interesting podcast going through our past from day one to present day. I wonder really though how when we talk about certain things, the emotions that we're going to feel, and because like I get very emotional when I talk about stuff sometimes, and I'll probably start like crying maybe at some point, but I feel like that's okay.
Yeah, I don't care.
I want everyone that is watching
after this year
feel it.
Yeah.
You know, like
after this year.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is maybe someday, probably not anytime soon. It's like I think I'm able to like share a lot more of my story than she is for just like personal reasons. And it sucks because her story is like crazier than mine times a million.
Yes, but like we said before, we can't compare people's
pain
experiences
is pain.
And your pain and everything like that. You can't compare because everyone's different. Every experience is different, whether worse or less worse. I guess I don't know. It's different.
Yeah.
And like no matter what, even with my experiences, people have had it way worse than me.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't be like, oh, mine's the worst. It's so bad. Like they're just different. But with everything that I've been through in my life and stuff that you've been through, and we're here now, thriving.
Yeah, no, we're doing like, really good. Like
everything is so good, and obviously there's some things that we wish were better. You know, like everyone has little quirks in their life that they wish it was better, and things. You know, those are the things that you can't control.
Yeah.
And if you wish that things were better and you can control it, then get off your ass and change it.
Yeah.
Because I don't like people that complain and stuff and then do nothing. With everything in life, there's help for everything. And there's a lot of help for everything. People just need to get that information because sometimes they don't have it and they think there's nothing. So maybe that's what we can help with every aspect of life.
Yeah. And I definitely want to say, because I've always been that weird person that I'm a pretty open book. And I will say that this year, after talking to, people about hardships that I'm going through, it's crazy the amount of relationships I've made, the people that have told me like, listen, like, after I've talked to them days later. 1 second. Guys, what are you doing?
You're okay.
Anyway, it's absolutely crazy how many people have told me like, wow, it's going to sound like the best, worst compliment in the planet. A lot of people told me like, dude, like, I'll be honest, the fact that you're going through what you're going through makes me feel like my troubles are just things I need to work on and get over because your stuff's real. And
but their stuff is real too. They feel like that their stuff is so minuscule compared to your problems.
But when people go through incredibly difficult times and they somehow power through it, it is inspiring as fuck. And I'm not saying that in an arrogant way. I'm saying that because I've been inspired this year because while talking to people, I've heard stories this year from other people. I'm like, there's no way, if I felt so bad for myself so many times this year, so many times, like literally feel bad for myself. And I realize in doing so, like, get over it because that's life. And you really should welcome troubles and hardships. It sounds crazy. It sounds like the most absurd thing anybody could say, but you don't realize that hardships can cause you to appreciate and look at life so drastically different that it can involve your entire life. And it's literally nothing but a choice. It can also destroy your life. A lot of people, they go through shit and they're just like drugs or alcohol, which we hardly ever drink. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
But have a little celebratory drink tonight.
Yeah. Wow. It's an exciting night and kind of weird and awkward.
Oh yeah,
I
I feel
still
awkward
feel
as shit.
awkward right now
But
this whole entire time. But
maybe if people actually watch this and like kind of interact, we'll be more encouraged. Maybe do like live streams and
that'd be fun. Yeah.
yeah.
But I think the more stories we tell and experiences we tell, people can relate more, and then there would be more
Yes.
communication back and forth. And that's what we want. Is like we want you guys to communicate with us because we want to know that you're watching and that you're interested. And if we help anybody with the smallest thing, tell us, because that is everything.
And if you got a story that you would like to put out there that you think is bad, I would love to have people share their stories. And again, just have to follow the guidelines. I just don't want anybody being disrespectful. I don't want any bashing. I don't care how wrong or right people are. Just no negativity.
You can like state the facts and what happened, but just try to keep it to I don't know, just no no negative talk about other people.
Yeah.
Just keep it I would say positive, but if your experience is a negative experience, just talk about the and maybe, keep people anonymous. We don't want to even drop names either. Try to keep that as
oh my gosh,
anonymous as possible.
I was going to say something. Yeah. So in this year, I've talked to a lot of people that have reached out to me, and I've had people tell me that I've been there for them and that they couldn't have done it without me. And it's like, there is no better feeling. I've realized that there's no better feeling than knowing that you can do something that costs nothing and just be there for people. Like my first YouTube video ever I shared, it was like about a month ago now. It was about an experience. So I recommend you check that out. It was the most real experience of my life, and I believe it changed the entire trajectory of my life. And it was just, and I think a combination of things, but that was just the pinnacle where my life just turned around.
It's kind of where you had your thoughts
like epiphany.
Yeah.
Call it.
And that is a real thing. People like it's a little thing goes dink, and you're like everything changes, and then with your mind changing, everything in your life kind of follows in suit.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing.
Yep. 100%.
Oh, hero.
Yeah, episode 1, I believe we're gonna try to make it an hour long. We can sit here and talk about crap.
What time is it?
We're at 37 minutes right now.
Oh,
but
that's a while, I think.
It is. But yeah, we could find things to talk about for sure.
There's always something to talk about, and I want to keep it like not always gloomy either. Fun things too. It'd be fun to share experiences that are fun and
like, I'll tell you what, man. Like so many people like bash doing anything outside of getting exercise. Like challenge yourself, do things that are out of the norm. Make a fucking podcast. Like I never thought I'd be doing this. This is crazy to me.
Yeah, it is pretty.
Even crazy. If it gets nowhere, which whatever, I don't care.
It would be fine because it's like our own little journal. It's like getting it out, actually, and talking about stuff is awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to watch this when we're older. When
we're like 90, I'll be like, babe, look at you in there. You look so good. And you're...
But yeah. I really want to stem this off. I wanted to do like episodes of kind of like our life and our relationship and make people just hate us because we're so corny. But
yeah, so warning, we're super, super corny and no filter. And I just also want to say, with our relationship being so freaking amazing, it isn't just, oh, love and rainbows, like my friends pick on me all the time, which it kind of is, but it's communication. And it's the little love things, like giving each other back rubs or the little notes around
unconditional.
Her. Yes, and making little sandwiches for him for
unconditional
lunch the next day. It's like all little things, and it's always been like that, and it hasn't stopped. And I think is that all that little stuff.
Yeah, the second you can,
everything.
The second you allow yourself to no longer get enjoyment by rubbing your wife's back. Like, I mean, I personally enjoy doing that. Like, I don't do it because I want her to feel good. I do it because I like rubbing her back. And just like, I had a realization this year, and it's a really cool realization. I'm like, it was really powerful. And I was just looking at her one morning, and stop freaking smirking. I was looking at her one morning, and I was just like, man, like, I have a wife that I literally wouldn't change anything about any flaw, anything about her. And I think that's also a choice because people, man, the grass is greener type of shit.
They want
crazy.
more. They want, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, and
She's like, "Will you shut up?"
I'll tell people this, and I have said this since day one, and it sounds so corny, but you are like my perfect person. And if I was to write a letter to God and it had all the looks and personality and drive and everything that you are inside and out, like you are to the T, like my perfect person, everything. And it's that I think is what freaked me out the most though, because it's weird. I manifested you 110%.
I'm just sorry. As you're talking,
Why are you laughing?
No, I'm just thinking of just some inappropriate shit that I said to you, which I would love to say in this podcast what I said. Maybe when the kids are older. It was just all hilarious. But
anyway, it's a true thing.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
You need to manifest your shit. You need to think positive and good things, and everything you do with peace and love. Dude, and that is everything in your life. Yes, everything in your life will fall in your lap.
Yeah, that whole thing with pay it forward. Was 2 weeks ago? We took the kids out to dinner. You took out my son. Mm-hmm. I took out, I should say our son, but you took out our oldest son, and yes, I took out the other two, and I went to a pizza shop, was eating pizza, and all of a sudden you text me, "Holy cow, someone just paid for my meal!" And like we've been on this kick of just like doing unconditional things for people lately. Yes. And like I've never had anyone pay for my meal before, and I just like, holy shit. So she texts me that, and then of course like at the pizza shop I'm at, I tip like 150% of what my bill was, just because I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, and it just makes you feel good because you know you're making the other person feel good.
There is power to that. And even if it doesn't involve money, it doesn't have to involve money whatsoever. No. Freaking
being a open ear for someone.
Yes.
Advice or hanging out with someone, a companion when people are lonely.
So I have some incredible stories, but it's going to be on a tangent. I'm going to do that in different episodes, but I've talked to a handful of people this year and had some profound experiences.
Oh yeah.
Even more so, probably as much as like the mental health clinic story that I talked about in my first video that I've ever posted. That was before I even considered really doing a podcast, but yeah. Just trying to think of anything else to really talk about tonight.
I know it's like a quiet, we're sitting on the couch, our dogs are here type of thing. And I just hope that what we talk about intrigues people and they want to listen and are wanting to hear what we have to say if they're going through anything, to see if whatever we say in any podcast, it will help them. But there's so much. This is the first one. Yeah. I've never done one before.
I'd love to have people on here and like just kind of kick it with us and like tell us your story, or
or just shoot the shit for a half an hour and talk about random shit and make it fun.
Just real people, like people that don't care about talking about feelings, don't talk about anything. Yeah, don't care about talking about anything. Yes, within reason, obviously.
Yes.
Should we end it early? Sounds horrible. First podcast, so we wanted to shoot from the hip. We didn't want to do a script. What I might start doing, just we have more to talk about and like a focus. Maybe a
more organized, timeline. Not all over the place, but
yeah.
We just right now wanted to give you a first glimpse of like how we met and everything, so you can kind of get a feel for our relationship.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a million other things that we could talk about so you can get a stronger feel of our relationship, which we'll get into, but we can't talk for 10 hours straight. Yeah. I could, but you guys wouldn't want to sit there for 10 hours straight.
I like that thought. I like thinking, I would love for people to experience what I experienced with my wife, because
I always feel that way.
I never heard anybody talk to me or like seem like they're like us, which like just I don't know. I have handfuls of people, just great relationships and stuff, obviously, but I don't know. This is different. Yeah. I feel.
There's been a lot of people that have come up to me since we've been together, and they're like, wow, you guys, like, I wish I had what you guys had, with our relationship. And I'm like, oh, I don't really know what to say because I don't know why
I think people just settle. I think people settle for less when they, people
Yes.
undervalue themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
I've undervalued myself my entire life.
Same.
Up until this year, like I just decided, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, but like, why can't other people just be as happy as we are? Because they settle? Is that why? They just get comfortable and stagnant in a life, single or in a relationship, and they don't strive for better because it's just easy.
I don't know.
And there's a lot of people that
literally anybody has the power to turn themselves around and turn their life around.
Oh, yes.
Everybody has the power. It's not easy.
Mm-mm.
It's not easy. Some people, they never do it, and they,
Yes.
Actually, I know she wouldn't mind. My sister overdosed, 3 years ago, in fatal. Fought that battle with her for a long time, and like that was horrible then. That whole experience was horrible then, and a lot of it still is horrible to think about. But the cool thing is, I have like two major deaths in my family that I can, knock on wood, major deaths in my family that have really hurt. And I would say that it's crazy that those moments aren't enough to make us appreciate everything like this year has for me. And I don't understand that, because this year's changed me, and I just, why did this year not, I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy how much more we appreciate things and people when you have death in the family. And but I get thinking back to some of my favorite memories of my life, and some of the best memories I have are, pretty much all weddings and funerals. Because I like seeing all my old family. There's a lot of people that don't, but I love my family. I love seeing them, and that's like the one time everybody's together. Kind of like when we were kids.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no. Sad it has to be like that. When some stuff like that happens is when everyone gets together, unfortunately.
Yep. Even at my sister's funeral.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, I heard an incredible saying, and I didn't understand it. I don't know whose saying it is, but it was, be the strongest man at your dad's funeral. I didn't understand that. I sat there. I was driving to work. And I remember just like staring off in the distance, and I had to envision like being at my dad's funeral and trying to be the strongest man. I'm like, it didn't take me long to understand, because I remember that feeling at my sister's funeral. Like, don't get me wrong, I cried, but I remember feeling like I just didn't want to, because I didn't want other people to hurt more than they already do, especially, kids and stuff, and which are awesome fucking kids. But yeah, yeah, that's a great example of stuff we're going to talk about. I'll probably circle back to that, because that was a pretty big event in my life. And
we'll talk about the crazy shit in our lives, and the not so deep stuff and the deep stuff, and feel all the feels and pull the heartstrings and everything. I
do remember the first year we were dating. This is kind of important. Like, I remember going away for training. I think I went to. Did I go to NTC the first time?
I don't know, but you
JRTC.
Okay.
So it's a month rotation training in the shithole of the planet. But I went there for a month. It was the first time being really away from her since we've been together, and I just remember
that was so hard for me.
Yeah, because we were attached at the hip since we started dating, pretty much. Talking every day, seeing each other every day,
doing everything together.
Yeah, and they pull cell phones when you go to that kind of training. So I think we went 18 days with no cell phones, no showers. Yeah,
that was hard.
What part? There's no showers for 18 days. Yeah, that was raunchy.
Yeah, but then you had another like almost month training that you were gone to. There was like two or three that were really, really long. But every time you had a training since the beginning, it got shorter. So that was good.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Trying to think of things the first year. Man, we should have wrote down bullet points for this.
We can splur it out in the next one.
Yeah.
There's no rules.
Yeah, the cool
do whatever
thing
the hell we want.
Cool thing is we can just, in future episodes and stuff, have more of a layout. We're going to learn, we're going to grow as we go. I don't have enough subscribers to do the introduction, like opener that you're able to make with, I think it's built into YouTube, but it said Yeah, I need to do something for that. And
we'll figure it all out.
Yeah.
We're newbies. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And if
she
any of
doesn't
you
know what
guys...
she's doing. I set all this up, just saying.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm just sitting here. If anyone has any pointers, you can throw them this way.
Yep.
Any questions and you want to know stuff or whatever. Right now, I mean, you probably don't really have anything to say, but maybe. I would like someone to say something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I hope somebody enjoys this. Man, I question whether or not it's going to be incredibly boring or not, but maybe I'll add some like background light music. Some podcasts do. Yeah, it's a bad idea.
I don't know. You never know. We could play with it.
Yeah.
That's what
Hopefully this is all clear enough. I think I'm going to end it. And you guys have a good night. Hope you enjoy the podcast. I would ask if people think this is real, if they think we're being authentic, and I would ask if you subscribe and like the video. Then, if you don't, if we're horrible people, I would ask you to just let me know. Let me know what we can do better. Because I really do like constructive criticism.
Yes.
That way we could refine this, make it better, make it more interesting.
I mean, as like the next probably 10 episodes, there's going to be fixing and changing and.
That's forever. Try to make things better and better and better.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, until we get really comfortable, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I'm a lot more comfortable than when I started this, so.
Maybe it's your drink.
It's definitely the drink. That was a strong maker's mark.
It's so strong.
Anyway, you guys have a good night.
Have a good night, y'all.
Life is good.